What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Aqua Naturalists podcast, a podcast that explores the wild and weird and wonderful natural aquatic environments all around the world. Today, we welcome our guest, Thomas Minesi. He lives in the Congo and he gets to explore one of the beautiful places on the planet, which is the Lac Foix or the River Foix. So he really goes in and explains why this place is so wild and also so the story is incredible. So you'll hear all of that. But I just wanted to ask you guys to watch the YouTube version of this podcast because we have spent a lot of time adding videos and images into the podcast, so you get to see just how beautiful this place is. It's mind-blowing. So if you want and have the time to do this as a better visual experience, then that's what I highly encourage you to do. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Today you are with my co-host Casey, H2 aka H2O Bro, and on social medias. And for myself, you already know I'm Mark, aka TMK Aquarist. And today we have a very special guest. Well, I mean, like all of our guests are very special, but this guy is really special because I just been obsessed with all the footage that he has taken in a very, I would say, still very mysterious country to me, and that's the DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo, in the heart of Africa. And with no further introduction, I present to you guys Mr. Thomas Minesi, aka Congo Photography. Hey, Thomas.
Okay, thank you. No mister with me.
No mystery for you, but still like a very romanticized sense of mystery in my eyes. How about that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Same here.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you have invited me in the podcast. I hope we will have an amazing talk and we'll go deep into some details of the part of the Congo. Thank you for listening to us and following that amazing podcast, guys. And so I'm, as Mark says, and
Sorry,
Kaze, thank
Thomas,
you
just
also.
1 second. Just could you like try to speak up a little bit louder? So it's a little, yeah, the voice
Yeah,
is a
I
little
can
bit
speak
muffled.
definitely louder. Sorry for that. So
Yeah, no
I'm
worries.
Thomas Minesi. Turning 37 years old. I'm born and raised in DR Congo. I've started the hobby of aquarium when I was around 5 to 6 years old, and I've carried on all my life. Aquariums and fish everywhere I went. I was in Belgium. I had aquarium when it was war in Congo. I went in a boarding school in France for 2 years. I had a small aquarium at boarding school during my studies in France
Nice.
also. Until 2012, I discovered aquascaping and I started to look into plants and then start to share some pictures in 2018. And now we are here doing podcasts with you guys. And my goal is to make discover to the aquarist, hobbyist, how the fish they know in their aquarium live in their natural habitat, because we have
Right.
all chemical information but no footage, no pictures of where they come from, and that's the goal of my page, Congo Nature Photography.
That's right. And this okay. So for our listeners and viewers who might not know you yet, they should, because if they follow me or Casey, right, on Instagram, they would like I share your footage all day long. But for those of the guys who are living under a rock, we know you best for all of your footage
that's taken in the River Froid, right?
Yeah,
River Froid is, I mean, just amazing. Like, so for those of you guys don't know, like, it's basically, is it a spring-fed river,
yeah.
right? It has to be
We
because
call
for that clear type of clarity, it has to be a spring-fed, right?
it's spring fed. We call that karstic system.
Hmm.
It's calcar rocks underground and with hundreds of kilometers of gallery through, and the water passes through this gallery and it's filtered by these porous rocks
Hmm.
and emerge from cracks and the sand directly in the River Foix. Uh, for the US living, you have the Silver Spring, the Blue Spring in Florida, and many,
Florida.
many
Yep.
springs in Florida. I think you have some also in California. I'm not sure, but
I
pretty
did
around
not
the
know
world you
that
have some.
about California Springs. Like that just intrigued me. I'm gonna Google that right away and I'm gonna
I
get on
think
that.
there is one in Florida. So as Mark says, most of the people knows me through the pictures of the River Foix that we have briefly introduced. I think maybe later in the podcast we'll talk more about this river. And also, I've shared many pictures of a very small stream
Hmm.
that is also spring fed around like 2 hours from Kinshasa that is full of anubias in it. And I think these particular spring have contributed a lot for me to grow on social media. And I really love the place. It's very tiny. It's like maybe 50 meters long and 10 meters
Hmm.
wide, but it's full of anubia growing
Wow.
permanently
So is
underwater.
it
And
just a section of the river that you're talking about where the Anubias just thrive, or is it like a tiny creek?
so Anubia is the Anubia Bay as a whole is a completely different part than the River Foix.
Mm.
River Foix is like 1,200 kilometers from where I live. And this small bay is, I will explain what is this bay. It's like 2 hour drive from me. So I think like 200 kilometers from my house. And so you have the Lufimi River, that it's a big river that flows from Angola to the Kasai River, to the Congo River, sorry. And there is a small spring-fed stream that is maybe 50 to 60 meter long, and the water just comes from the ground. And you have that section that is connected to the river Lufimi, that it's crystal clear water and full of anubia. It's a permanent underwater colony. For one part of the colony is permanent, the other part it fluctuates between the dry season and the
Mm.
rainy season.
Wow. Yeah, we're gonna try to put up some photos and footage if possible, right? For
Yeah,
our
if possible,
viewers.
it would be good.
Yeah, so you guys can see, but for our listeners, you just have to, because it's very hard to imagine in your head what like how beautiful this river that we're talking about, right? So I mean, it's probably like, am I going overboard saying that it's like one of the most pristine river that's still, left on the planet?
Yeah, I think we can almost safely say that. You're talking about the River Foix this
Yeah.
time. Yeah. So maybe we can structure a bit, and let's say we start talking about the River Foix, and then we can make another subject about
Yeah, sure.
anubias in the wild, and we can talk about that particular clear stream and also forest stream with
How
anubias
about that?
inside.
We'll leave all the Nubia topic. We'll just refer all the Nubia topic to Jeff Sensky's podcast because you guys talk plenty about Nubias for the whole episode. So like anyone who's interested in Nubias, we're not gonna
Just
talk
go to the
about it too much here, but you guys can
great.
listen to the Everything Aquarium podcast from with Jeff Sensky. A
Okay.
little plug for him right there. But
So let's focus on the River Foix.
yeah, let's do that.
So as Mark was saying, yes, I think we can safely say that this river is one of the last on the planet that is pristine and untouched almost untouched by human activity, because unfortunately, yes, there is some human activity. So that river is located in the heart of Africa and in the heart of Congo, in the Kasai region. And it's a karst system. So as we were saying before, it's spring fed from the ground, and the river is 15 kilometers long. And on the widest part, you have maybe 200-meter wide, but average, we will say it's 50 meters wide. The depth of the river is quite shallow. At the beginning, where the water comes from the ground, it's a bit deeper, let's say 6 to 8 meters. But the rest, the average, it's between 2 meters and 3 meters. And sometimes you have like 50 centimeters of water because you have a huge field of Valisneria or Potamogeti, and you just float above them.
Like a wide mount,
so,
right?
Yeah. So it's not like, it's not completely, the ground is not flat.
Right,
You have some small hills and valleys and things like that you can, maybe you have seen on my video, you can play with it, and it's very great.
I'm nodding along like I'm nodding along like I'm so familiar with the metric system, and then but then like, you know, all the metrics is like numbers are just like kind of like going over my head real quickly. But so 5 or 6 meters, that would be like what, like more than 20 feet, right? That's
I don't know why you guys are using.
So that's like
30 10 feet. 3 meters is 10 feet, so 6 would be, yeah, because my tank is 3 meters. So yeah, it would be 6 meters would be 20 feet.
Right, something like that. So pretty deep for a river. Not incredibly deep, I guess, but fairly deep.
Which is like probably perfect for plant life too.
Right.
Yeah, perfect, because they get the right amount of light.
I've seen the video, like for some of the video, like parts of the footage, right? You really like, especially when you guys are snorkeling, and then you see the underwater scape, right, of the riverbed is very dramatic, because it's not just like a gradual type of like, you know, ebb and flow, but it's like the rock structure, right, on the riverbed. Some parts protrudes out, like jags out, and then all of a sudden you have like a very deep cliff, almost like, right? And then you come, so like when you swim over that rock, right, like that cliff covered with vegetations, and then all of a sudden you come to a dive, and it's like a huge opening, and then you got like fish swimming by. Man, it's just magical. And like the rivers, I mean, the water is so blue and so clear. It's crazy. So I have a question regarding the reason why it's so pristine, right? Because I know that you said there's not that a whole lot of human activity, and that's the only way really for any you know, natural environment to stay wild and pristine, right? But what's the reason that contribute to that? Like, is there just not a whole lot of population residing around the area?
There are multiple reasons. The first one is that there is a parasite in that water, in that river, that calls.
Did you say parasite?
Yeah, parasite. That we call Bilharzia. The Bilharzia lives in a small snail, and when he sees a mammal, so an animal or a human, it detects the heat of the body, and it goes through I don't know how you call that in English, the holes that you have in your...
the pores on your skin.
Yeah, the pores, thank you. It's the same in French. The pores. And then it goes into your body, and the larvae, they grow and they do eggs. And then if you don't treat it, if you have it, it can be bad and goes through your brain, etc. But I went 3 times. I swim. I like. So just to explain, these snails live in the stagnant part of the river. If you stay in the main flow of the river, you would never have problem. I went everywhere, stagnant water, walking in Valisneria until here, the 3 times, and I have never had bilharzia. So that's the first reason. In 46, the first scientist who went there was a Belgian. His name was Dr. Schwetz. He gave the name to the Schwetzochromys also. And he went there due because the colonial authorities asked him to go there and do some studies about bilharzia and also about malaria. So he went there, and when he saw the river, he stayed for 12 days on the river, and he wrote an amazing paper on it. It was like 15 pages about the river.
Mhm.
So the when he came back, the colonial authorities says we could not anymore do any activity on the river. You cannot fish, you cannot swim. Anybody cannot go there. They have asked the villages that were down in the river to go up just to control the bilharzia problem. So that's the first factor.
To
Uh,
control the parasite problem.
yeah, to control the parasite problem in the village.
Gotcha.
Because when they are near the water, they can swim easily and etc. If they are up on the hill, they have just to go down to take the water and go back home, and they boil the water. So it was a way to control it. So that's the first factor, I think. The second factor would be the isolation of the place. Since the mid 70s, so 75, 76, all the infrastructure started to degrade. Before, you were doing like 1.5 hours from the town of Kananga to the river Foix, like my mother used to do when she was a kid. Now you can do 8 to 12 hours. So that is one factor: the isolation and the bad condition of the transport infrastructure. And the third one is for me the war going on in Congo and in the sub-region of the Great Lakes. We have the war now since 23 years.
Wow.
So there is no tourists who want to come to Congo. It's very hard to get a tourist visa. If you don't know someone in the country, then you cannot come. So I think that these are the three main factors that have contributed to keep that place safe.
I see.
And no one knows about that river.
I see. So, are we doing a disservice to the river by, like making a bucket list location for everybody?
No.
And that'd be hard to get out there, like you're saying.
I mean, like so far, even with the parasite, like it's still not coming off my bucket list. Because I mean, like I've heard worse parasites that go into your body through your penis. So I mean, like, going through your skin.
No, the parasite is nothing. If you just finish your expedition to the river Foix, you take pills of artemether. That's pills coming from the plant Artemisia, and it kills all the larvae. So it's just you take the pills and it's finished. If you just do it by prevention, but I don't take medicine like that. So if I'm not infected, I will not take the medicine. But no, we don't do this. I don't know how they say.
The service.
This service to the river, as I challenge everyone to go there because it's far, it's hard to get. You need to know the local chief because if not, you will not enter the water. You cannot travel like that in the Congo without having any mission paper from the government or from an institution of the Congolese institution. So it's very hard to get there. So I think we are okay for now.
This is this is on like the mystery of the Congo, like Mark was saying. I feel like I grew up and know animals from all over the world. I know places from all over the world. That's all I ever cared about. And then when we were getting ready for this podcast, I was like, I know Congo is the heart of Africa. It's got the it's got gorillas. It's got that. When I see that beautiful the Fall River, I think like, do you have predators in that river at all? Like here in Florida, in our rivers, there's alligators, plenty of the time, and especially when it gets colder, I don't know what the temperatures can get like there. When it gets a little colder here, they come out onto the banks, whereas you don't notice them during the summer. They're in the water. But I didn't know if you have anything like that, any predators, or getting out there in the jungle if there's, if you notice any predators out there.
Um, so on regarding River Foix, I have not seen predators. I've asked the village, the people living there, have they seen crocodiles? All the young one, they say no. The old one, they said yes, we used to have crocodiles, but very few. It was the gavial species, so with the long
Skinny.
nose.
Yeah.
That one,
Yeah,
yeah.
long nose. In French, we say faux gavial. Uh, so the false gavial, I don't know how to say it in English.
Yeah.
But that's it. And they said I have not seen one since very long time. Of course, yes, you can see snakes, but I've on 3 times I've been there, I've not seen snake by my eyes. The first time it was like 20 meters from the camp, and the guy was shouting a big snake, but he went in the trees and went away. The second time it was in the pandanus floating plants on the other side of the river, but I've never seen any predators. On the papers of Robert and Kullander, where they do the scientific description of the fishes, the cichlids of the River Foix, they have listed all the species they have caught there, and they've listed hydrocinus fishes, the species. So the hydrocinus is the tiger fish, the African giant piranha. I have swim in the whole river from the spring to the mouth of the river, and I have not seen one, even a juvenile. Maybe they were close to the Luby River because the Foix River flows into the Luby River, that it's a murky white river.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there is some hydrocinus in that, so some tigerfish in that river. And maybe the day they were there and they just entered the river for a small hunt and they went back into the murky river. No, I've never been attacked or I've never seen predators. I know, like you said, in Blue Spring and Silver Spring, there are a lot of alligators. In the Amazon also, there are quite a lot of fishes, of crocodiles, anacondas. I swam in the rivers of the equatorial forest near the Lopori River, the Matupo River. I went to swim in a lot of small rivers on the Malebo Pool. I've never encountered anything. Maybe I hope not, they've eaten everything.
Oh, so you get the mussels, they get scared when they see you come through.
Yeah. I'm too strong for them.
Well, so it seems to me that, like, at least in terms of fish, right, predatory fish and large predatory fish, you don't really see a whole lot of them in like very clear water, right? Very clear and these little, small tributaries. For example, I mean, like in Florida, the springs, are there any like large predatory fish? No, right?
Yeah, some like gar.
Was that?
Yeah, the gar.
Oh, the
Yeah,
gar, right?
come
Oh,
through.
yeah, never mind.
Yeah, and but you're right, like with what you, because I think Thomas can speak to this after I do. Those floating islands, I've seen him post a lot in the river when the plants, they kind of build up and they make these huge islands. And actually, when you go underneath them, you have to you have to be a little cognizant of maybe alligators, but there's so much life down there. But when you're looking underneath, sometimes you'll see turtles, you'll see like the gar sitting there.
Sure,
They're just
sure.
like you're saying, they're waiting under the shadows.
Right, like ambushing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. And like there are a lot of types of cichlids, right, in the River Foix, and then, but are there any like species that we would know in the hobby that are like popular in the hobby?
Didn't you
Yeah,
mention like the Congo tetra? Was it the Congo tetra, or was that a different location with the red Congo
That would
tetra?
be a different location, right?
Yeah, maybe.
yeah. So you got, so the Congo tetra, it's the genus of the Phenacogrammus. Phenacogrammus is very widespread in the Congo basin. I got the footage like 15 seconds where we are in a small channel of the River Foix, because in fact you have a small first part of the river that it's 1 or 2 kilometers, and then it's connected to the main river by a small channel. So we have never explored that channel, so we wanted to go there, and I filmed down there in that channel. And unfortunately, I wasn't swimming. I just dipped the camera in the water, so I just saw the footage after leaving the river floor. And I've seen fishes, alestes. For me, they are phenacogrammus. But the footage is not enough clear to be sure that it's phenacogrammus. I spoke with Heiko that went 3 times there. It says for him it's phenacogrammus because he have caught phenacogrammus. So yes, you have the tetra Congo in the river Foix. Maybe not the morph we know of the yellow, blue, green, yellow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's another color. They have different color for the same species in that genus. Another cichlid that it's quite widespread in Central Africa. It's Hemichromis elongatus. That it's a big cichlid like this. That it's bright yellow with 7 black spot on it and a red belly. It's quite common. It used to be in the same family as the jewel cichlid.
Oh, okay.
But now they've separated this genus into different genus. I think that would be the 2 species that people could know, because River Foix, it's amazing by this color, his translucent water, the forest around, but also by the species living in this water. You have 6 cichlids living in that river. 5 of them are endemic to the River Foix, and one genus one genus also is endemic to the River Foix. I tried to speak with Adrian, a guy his thesis was about exclusion of river and isolation of lakes and development of endemic species, if I can say it in simple word, and I'm not sure I said it the right way. If you listen, Adrian, sorry if I misunderstood.
No, you're doing great.
And he told me he doesn't really know why, and I don't know why, because the river is completely connected to the river Lubi, and in the river Lubi you find most of the fishes that is in the Congo River and the Congo Basin. So it's quite weird. So you have endemic cichlids living there that are beautiful, that no one knows. And I think about the Thoracochromis calicromus, that it's a very beautiful cichlid that have electric blue lipsticks, pink cheeks, surrounded by bright yellow and bright red belly and blue electric reflection on the body. It's an amazing fish, but no one knows about it. You have the same genus, the Thoracochromis now brauchi, that it's olive green with bright red on the body and blue lipstick. It's blue lips. I said lipstick because we were talking with one guy that have cichlids from the River Foix, and he says it's like they are putting lipstick on it because it's very shiny.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, it's unique by the location, etc., but also unique by the species that we have, and also the plants. Vallisneria is widespread in the world. The Vallisneria that is in the river, it's Vallisneria aethiopica, and we have also the Potamogeton, and the Potamogeton species we have. I think it's a common one in the world, but it's the only place that it can reach that length. The length of the Potamogeton when you reach the 3rd part of the river is maybe 8 to 10 meters long. It's huge.
Wow.
And nowhere in the world you can see Potamogeton as long as that and as abundant as we have in the River Foix. So yeah, it's a completely amazing place.
It's even hard for me to wrap around my around like 8 to 9 meters long. That's crazy. I mean, like no, I know how long.
Like
I just can't imagine
16 to 20 foot, something like that.
You know, like just flowing that long, and that's incredible. Like we'll have to find that part of the footage and then just like, you know, get it into the video so people can see it. I mean, like I want to see it too. So that's
Yeah, ask me
incredible.
when you need a picture during the editing of the podcast. You ask
Yeah,
me the picture of that particular talk, I send you right away.
cool, great. That's awesome. And like from the footage, I see all these cichlids are swimming in school, and then they're just like, you know, kind
Mhm.
of like schooling everywhere. And that's not usually you know, a behavior that cichlids are known for. So
Mhm.
like could that be something that's pretty unique?
I think it's more, I would say, you have the species, the genus, and before that
Family?
it's the genera. I think no, it's the not the family, but
Family?
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, gotcha.
all the I think the Alpochromini gender. So you have the Tropheus, so the Tanganyikan fish, the Malawi fish, the Kivu Lake fish, the Victorian fish. Um, I'm not a scientist, guys. I'm not biologist. I've not studied fish. I've studied finance, so not no biology at
I got
all.
some questions for you on that
They
too.
they are living in group. If you look at footage from the Tanganyika, you will see a lot of cichlids evolving and living in group in schools. And the cichlids we have in the River Foix are alpochromis. So maybe it's the same behavior. And not all of the fishes in the River Foix, not all the cichlids in the River Foix lives in group. Most of the cichlids you see on the footage are cyclopharynx. So there's two species in the cyclopharynx. You have the cyclopharynx foyer and the cyclopharynx schwetzi. They represent maybe 80% of the fish you see swimming in school.
Did you say
And then in
80%?
80%, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I'm talking about the school of fish you're seeing
Sure,
swimming and not
sure.
the total. And inside this school, you have maybe 15% of Schwetzochromis neondon, and then maybe one or 2% of Thoracochromis calicromis. The Thoracochromis, they tend more to live away of the big groups. They maybe in smaller groups, but not um, unigender group. They
Mm.
always so one Thoracochromis with maybe 5 Schwetzochromis and 10 Cyclopharynx. And same for the Brauchi. Same for the Hemichromis elongatus. So they are not all swimming in school, but I think it's a behavior of the Alpochromini type of fish.
Gotcha. That's so it's just incredible to see how the fish are just behaving, you know, just so relaxed and you know, just the whole picture of it, right? The entire scenery is so tranquil. And then I like this place is definitely a place that I want to visit, right? Because I want to see that for myself. And
We know someone
the
from the Congo. We can go.
Come,
yeah, I
come,
know,
guys. You
right?
know
And
someone
then
in the
no,
Congo.
I am. I'm gonna definitely gonna. But what I want to say is that from your footage, because I was just talking to somebody, a friend recently, right? And then we were talking about you, and then he was like, he's also enamored by like, you know, all your footage and everything. But then one thing
Thank you.
that he was really into is that from your footage and images, right? You can really see a lot of things that aquascapers usually don't like can't imagine, right? Of things, of plants, of rocks that are in the same frame or same combination, right? Because there are just so many composition with different materials in that same frame that it's just wild. And plus, like especially these um underwater landscapes, right? With the stone formation being, you know, just a very dramatic stone formation, and then all of a sudden you have just lush plants covering like just everywhere. It's pretty incredible. And then I think that really can give people who are into aquascaping a very fresh perspective and a new sense of inspiration.
Yeah, I think you have pointed your finger on something quite right, that aquascapers, you have precise aquascapers, not biotoppers. Aquascapers cannot imagine the mix of different material and how water can escape the land. And I think mainly it's because aquascapers, they base their inspiration on aquariums that have been done by people in the past, like Takashi Yamano, like George Farmer, like I will not say Jeffrey Senske and everybody, but all these person they just went, like maybe for Takashi Yamano, the others I don't know, but they have not seen footage, underwater footage. The inspiration was more about seeing on pictures of trees growing around the rivers, how the roots can tangle and go with a lot of root system. And I think uh, for the aquascaper, the that's how they get their inspiration. We don't have the chance to have a lot of footage of underwater because the water is strong and can escape whatever you want. And
Right.
if there is a small change in the depth, if there is a rock, the water will always manage to find the
Right.
way, and it will dig us under the rock, or just pass
Or just
on top of the
cut
rock.
through.
And yeah, and by doing this, it will move sand up on the upper the rock or something. And that's something we don't know, because the inspiration we have in aquascaping comes from realization, first from realization of people that have not seen the underwater scene,
Hmm.
and also by the terrestrial part. If you see a lot of aquascaper, they take pictures of rocks or even mountains for Iwagumi style. They take mountains. Oh, I want to reproduce that, but it's very rare in the water that you have this kind of thing. Um, they will see, they will take pictures of two tree growing just beside one another, and the roots are mixing, and so it's giving a small relief. I don't know how you say in English. It's going by a slope with roots and maybe some rocks, but that's the earth. It's not the water. In the water, it's not the same. So I think I hope I will contribute people to have another look at the scenery and how to maybe aquascape and do their hardscape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you're saying, what I haven't done a lot of the underwater footage yet, because I didn't know that people liked it as much. I hadn't found your Instagram yet either when I started doing some of the underwater footage, and now I have a baby, so it's been hard to get out there. But what is interesting to me is like you were saying, Mark, when you go underwater, and I'm sure you noticed this, Thomas, that it feels a little bit overwhelming for me when I'm trying to capture things because I feel like I'll miss something when the rivers are wide and it's flowing and I'm trying to, it's both peaceful and stressful because it's so different everywhere you look. And I don't want to come up and relax on the river because I don't want to miss something. Because as soon as you underwater, there's just stuff everywhere. You're looking at the bottom here. I'm looking at the bottom. There's limestone and there's the Vallisnarias coming out of the limestone in different areas. And then you look to the left and it's like a little not tributary, but just a little inlet that turns, some of that tannins in the water, and then there's different fish in there and flowering plants, and it just can imagine for you. And you said you only got this footage three
Sensory
times.
overload.
Yeah, you've only got like I mean that's what aquascapers would love. I'll try to focus on that when I'm going next time. But I can imagine you said you've only gone to this river three times, and you have like incredible footage for the
Thank
three
you.
times going.
The first time we went, it was pretty sketchy. It was quite dangerous, and we stayed only maybe 4 or 5 hours on the river, and we left. after a hell of a trip. So I was quite disappointed, and that's why I wanted to go back in
What brought you? What
2021.
brought you there?
Short story or long story?
Long
Both.
story, please.
So, in fact, I didn't, even by growing in Congo, I never really heard about the river. I remember one time my mother saying, yes, when I was in boarding school in Kananga, we used to go with my father in a river that's quite, the water is very transparent. And she told him about me. And I never put it my mind about this river and I forgot about it. Maybe I was 12 when she talked about this. And then in 2014, I received my mother forward me a mail from a guy, and she called me and she said, "Listen, I got a friend in San Diego. Her name is Ashley, and Ashley sent me a picture, and she asked me, do you know that place?" And I answered, "Yes, of course. I was going there during the weekend when I was a kid. That's Lake Foix. They all call that place Lake Foix, but I don't understand why. It's a river. It's not, for me, it's a river. It's not a lake." And so she told me, "Go and read the mail." So I went to read the mail, and there were a guy saying that he came to Congo since the 74. He came 30 times in Congo, and he went 2 times to the Lake Foix, and he wants to go back because it's the most beautiful ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem he has seen in his life. But the road is very sketchy, and he knows anybody in Congo, and he got the contact from Ashley, and Ashley told him that I was doing dirt bike racing, so he wanted me to go with him and bring him in bike to the river, to the Lake Foix. And then I read the name at the bottom of the letter, and it was Heiko Blair.
Wow.
Blair. That names, I know that name. And then I just typed Blair, and I saw Echinodorus blairii and all the stuff. I pronounced his name like thousands of times by saying the scientific name of fishes and plants. So I contacted him and I told him, yeah, I wish we can do something and organize something. And it was in 14. So he said, let's do something 2015. And in 2015, we were 1 year before the presidential election in Congo. After 15 years or 17 years of the President Kabila on power. So it was a bit tense because he had to leave the power. And the country was not stable. So in 2015, I told him, we cannot do this. It's too dangerous. You cannot come to Congo. Let's do it maybe in 2017 because 2016 is the election year. Okay, 2017. Unfortunately, there were a lot of killings in the area of the River Foix. They like more than 3,000 people died there, and they were fighting between local tribes. So they were cutting the heads, everything. So, and it was like 30 kilometers from the River Foix, so I couldn't go. And I told him it's too risky to go. And in 2018, and each year they've postponed the presidential election. No? And in 2018, he told me, Thomas, I'm becoming quite old and I really want to go to Congo. Let's do it. And then I have arranged the trip, and we went. Inside that story, I can do a bit longer if you want.
Yes, please. Expand.
So he had to come with another person, Michael, that he wanted to go to the River Foix.
Michael Salter?
And yeah, Michael Salter.
Oh, okay, cool. So
that's how I knew Michael. It was through that the organization of that expedition.
He talked to me. He told me a lot about River Foix. Yeah,
he really wants to go to the river also. And so by doing the expedition organization, we have heard that the killings were a bit continuing in that region. So a friend of mine that is quite well placed told me, Thomas, look, I don't think it's a good idea to go there. And then I spoke with Heiko, and he said, Thomas, last time I came in Congo, it was in 94. I really want to come. I wanted to write a book about Congo fish. Can you make me come? Can I come and you arrange some meeting with people of the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, so we can do the book. So yeah, I told him you can come. So to come, he needed a special visa because we was traveling along the world, he couldn't send his passport to the Congolese embassy of Italy for 2 weeks. So I had to arrange a special visa, and I knew a friend that knew the managing director of the immigration. So I went to see him and I explained him the problem, and he said, "No problem. Let me call the guy, the managing director." So he called him and he say, "I'm sending you my number 2 of the office, and you come and can collect the letters, etc." And when that guy came, I explained him that Michael is not coming anymore. And he say, "Why?" "Because you did a letter with Michael on it." And I said, "Because we wanted to go to the River Foix, and we are not going anymore to the River Foix because it's too dangerous." And then he asked me, "But what is the River Foix?" So I showed him some pictures, and he said, "But where is it?" And I said, "It's in the territory of Dimbelenge." He said, "No, you're going." I said, "How can we go?" He said, "No, the managing director of immigration is born there in that territory." And so we went to see the managing director. We met with Heiko and him. He did first the visa, etc. And so finally we went to the River Foix, and they've helped us financially also to go there. We had militaries as there were the killings. And that's how I went and I discovered the first time. And so we went there, and we had the chief of immigration of the Kasai Central that came with us to the river. And he did the first night in the local chief hut. And the next morning at 6, he was down to the river, and he said, "At noon, you will be in the car and we're leaving." And he said, "No, we have work to do. We need to collect. We need to go down the river." He said, "I'm not sleeping one night more here." So at noon, we're leaving.
Oh no.
And it was 6:30, the time we go in the water, and we had to close the camp at 11 and do 5 kilometers walk back. So the first time was pretty frustrating and even I didn't really spend time in the water. I did a lot of dugout, like the pirogue flowing on the water just to go and see, because by swimming I didn't have any fins. The flow is quite strong, so I didn't really swim. I swam in the small Belgium Bay. I call that the Belgium Bay because there used to be a hotel there before the freeze. There used to be a small hotel.
Wow.
And that there were that small bay where water comes out, and it's a pristine place. So I went to swim there. And so that's why the second time I wanted to go, because I needed to go back. So what I've seen was not enough at all. And so I needed to go back. And my best friend who is doing dirt bike, I told him, we have to go. And he said, yes, we go. And he said, I will order a small Zodiac, small dinghy boat. We'll bring the boat. I said, you serious? He said, yeah. So he bought a small boat. He bring it from Belgium to Congo. Before leaving, he said, Thomas, we go like king, okay? We go with big tents, table, gaze, cook. So that time we had a very good camp, and we went back this year. So that's pretty the experience I had with the river.
You have
is it more safe now? Is it the political situation?
Yeah, the political situation is more safe, but we are in election year, so 2023 it's a presidential election year.
You sure there's not going to be any more delays?
I don't know. It's sometimes it's a bit sketchy to talk on social media about this, but yeah, the situation is a bit tense. We don't know very well the road we are taking. I don't know if is it first term, so he can do 2 terms. Will he be re-elected? I don't know. So I think we're going for some pretty tense moments. From beginning August, I think it will start to be a bit tense. We have this Saturday, I don't know how to say, when people gather together and do a walk. I don't know how to
Oh,
say,
like
riot.
Like a protest?
Yeah, like a
Marching?
protest.
Yeah.
Like a march?
Yeah, marching. This weekend we have marching of opposition and presidential party at the same time. So we'll see how it goes. But we are used to. Situation country-wise, it's not very safe. We have the war on the eastern part on the eastern part of the Congo, so it's like 3,000 kilometers from where I live. Hugo, please.
That's a great
Sorry, that's
painting.
my kid.
Yeah.
It's not a painting. It's
Can we see
Actually,
it?
it's fish themed.
Oh, nice.
Wow. That is pretty.
it's a picture of a pelmatochromis that
It's a painting,
they
right?
gave me. Yeah, no, it's not a painting. It's a picture. Maybe it's too blurry, so you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I had the I went to the West African Cichlid Association. I did a talk there regarding river flow and the Congo biotop. It was a very good experience. So yeah, well, country-wise, the situation is not very good. It's not very good. Like the place, the Anubia Bay, I'm talking that it's 2 hours from my house. There are some killings since last year, July last year, and since 1 month now, it's becoming stronger and stronger. Last week they've killed like I think 16 or 20 people, but it's pretty barbarian because they're doing with it the machetes and
Yeah.
so the footage we got from there, it's pretty shocking. Pretty shocking.
You're on par with the other guests that we've had on the podcast when I ask them about, because they're, it's all over the world. When I ask them about predators, it's like, and then when you ask them about people, they're like, yeah, that's what we fear as people.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's the same. It's the same for Heiko as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's these people they have nothing. That's their problem. Can you give me 1 second?
Yeah. We all have kids, so we understand how tough it is. And Mark has a puppy, so that's a kid and a half.
Allez, vas-y, pas dehors, Hugo. Je reviens, j'ai bientôt fini. Vas-y dehors.
Yeah, so
c'est moi qui vais te coucher.
When do you think
Sorry, guys.
go, Casey?
What'd you say?
When do you think you'll be making the trip?
First off, I can't let my wife listen to the podcast for it. So I skip this one because I'm the kind of guy that like they joke that there's a Florida man, like I'm ready for anything, that kind of thing. And so she hates she doesn't even like the rivers down here because there's alligators in them. So I can't tell her about the Congo. I'll just be like, yeah, it's a beautiful jungle. We'll be careful. So to sum it up, just
tell her that there's no large predators. There's no predators in
guys. I think I would be way more afraid to swim in Florida rivers than in the Congo rivers. Way scarier. With all these alligators you got.
When I describe how like muscular Thomas is, then she'll be like, first of all, she might ask to come too, But yeah, no, I don't have a time frame yet, but I do think I'm going to be able to start traveling again soon. I do actually go to Jamaica this weekend just because
nice.
My wife has been stir crazy. But coming up now that he's 2, I think my leash got a little bit longer, so I can start making some of these trips. So it'll be really nice. So maybe in the next year or so. Obviously,
maybe.
We'll see. Well, I mean, obviously it depends on the circumstances for you, Thomas, too. Like, I don't want to I'm inviting myself over there, but if it comes to a certain time that we all can.
I think it would be better for the people who want to come to the Congo, or if you guys want to come with me, I think it would be better to wait 2024 to pass, as it will be the first year after the election, if we have the election. And 2025 will be a good year. And I'm not sure I will go back in 2024 in River Foix. And if one of you guys comes, of course, we need to go to River Foix because yes, the river surrounding Kinshasa are nice. But no, River Foix, it's exceptional. And I went through quite amazing place on the planet. I'm keep saying about the island of Bonaire. I was in Greece, I was in Thailand, I was in Kenya, and I've swim in very beautiful places. I've seen beautiful nature, and yeah, for me, I can tell River Four is the most beautiful place I've seen on the planet for now. And Heiko says all the time it's the most beautiful place he has seen also.
You've also been over to the springs here too, it sounds like. You've been to Florida, haven't
No, 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 I have
you?
not
No.
been. I came only once in the US. It was in 2019. I came in San Diego and that part. Just I went to see Supercross racing
Oh,
because I'm riding dirt bike, and my dream was to see the opening of the Supercross season in Anaheim. So I went in
okay.
Anaheim and had
So yeah,
an
right
amazing
where I
time.
am.
Well,
Actually.
You're there, so
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, I have to come. I have to come to US, and of course, one of my go-to destination in the US will be Florida because I want to see these springs also.
Okay,
you're welcome.
so yeah, go
Okay.
ahead, Casey.
I was just say you're welcome. I've got a house here for you to stay to, and then maybe if you know if your wife and kid comes, my wife and your wife can go hang out, and then we can go to the rivers. But they are beautiful here too. I would say that they're like you're not going to be as blown away probably, but I don't know where to rank them, but they do have more traffic. That's the thing too. You have more people at these places. So there's some select ones you can go to that aren't, and they're beautiful, but they're not as like when you come out with your drone and that footage, it looks like
There is
someone
no one.
someone from the movie, yeah,
Yeah,
like
there
the
is no
cinema.
one. That's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, there's
Thank
some.
you, for inviting me
yeah.
to your place.
Yeah, there's.
Um, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, someone was commenting on, like the footage that I did on Instagram, and then they were saying like, oh yeah, like now show the reality because you got the Instagram versus reality, and
Yeah,
then because I think he was really thinking that yeah because like the footage that we shot like or not the footage that Thomas shot
we shared.
was like the most beautiful part, and then like just avoided all the crowd and everything, but no, it's just like there's no one there.
No,
No.
no. In fact, from 2021 and to 2022, 2023, we were the last white men they've seen. So 1.5 years they've seen no white men coming on the river.
Oh
So
wow.
there is pretty no one there. Uh, there is villages around. Yeah, there is villages around, but you can you can not see them on the water. It's not like
Yeah.
you will see maybe 6 or 7 people fishing, and then maybe from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. you will have some ladies and the children and the child coming to the river to take some water to bring to the so to wash themselves to wash the clothes and then bring water to the village. But you don't see no one. We are the only one who went there with a motorized boat also.
And
It's
and when you like, how do you get to the river? Like, do you have to hike or can you drive?
we the first 2 time we took the wrong road.
Uh,
So we had to hike like 3 kilometers, but that's nothing. But when we have to carry a small
sure.
boat, an engine, all the material, it's pretty hard. But this time, the first time we came from the town of Kananga, and we had to go to Lake Mukamba and then go up Dimbelenge and down to River Foix. And it was like the first time I did 8 hours. The second time it was so hard we had to sleep on the road. We did like 14 or 16 hours to reach there. This time we decided, so we take the plane from Kinshasa. You take the plane from Kinshasa, you go to Kananga, or now this time we went from Kinshasa, so that's the capital of DRC, to the town of Mbujimai. And Mbujimai, we found a car, sort of a car, let's say.
A tractor.
And then it was only like 3.5 hours of driving,
Oh wow.
and we reached the camp like 50 meters from the river. We stopped the car 50 meters from the river, and even though we could ask the local guys to arrange a bit the road, and so we can go down to the camp. But so no, there is no hike. We went hiking the last day because we wanted to see a small hill at the beginning of the river. You can hike around if you want, but it's pretty, let's say, accessible when you know the chiefs, you know the road, and that you know where you will be camping and etc.
Okay. How many days did you guys camp there for?
3 nights.
Nice. Any
Yeah, 3
like
nights.
wildlife encounters?
No,
Or
no,
has the
no.
local pretty much hunted them down?
I think they've hunted everything because when you read the papers of Dr. Schwetz of 1946, he's explaining that he was seeing some monkeys from the genus of now I have a blank. Okay, it will come back. Cercopithec. He used to see other species of monkeys. He used to see a lot of birds, eagles also, but I have not seen any eagles. I've heard some birds. At night we have owls also, and so you have the owl and what's almost like the owl. What's the name of the? You have the owl.
I'm trying
You have
to.
the owl and the other bird that is almost like the owl, but got
Oh,
like
looks like
some.
it. I think I always thought they're all owls, so you'll know more than me because I just think they're all just different types, but I'm sure they're not.
Okay,
I'm sure
okay,
there's a
no problem.
subdivision.
Yeah, it's just
So
different
no,
type of
no.
owls, maybe.
I think they have hunts quite a lot of all the species there, all the mammals there, because I have not seen anything, not
Wow.
even like big forest rats or things like that. Nothing.
That was my encounter when I went to Colombia, and then we went pretty deep into the jungle and or the rainforest rather, and then yeah, we didn't see any wildlife. I was really hoping to see a capybara, like one at least,
Yeah.
but then there were none. In the middle of the night when we were camping, and then we heard gunshots, and then
Hmm.
so we asked like the tour guides, like the local, right, like to like what that was. And so
They were
like
hunting.
the indigenous people basically formed like a hunting party, right, at nighttime to hunt down these
Hmm.
capybaras. And then
Hmm.
so
Oh,
clearly they were,
the sweetest
yeah,
rats.
I know. There I was
At
so
least,
I was like,
at
oh,
least you knew it was hunting.
Yeah.
Last time in River Foix, we had also gunshots, but it was not for hunting. I first
oh
thought it
man.
was for hunting, but then I look at my watch. It was like midnight. It was raining. I said hunting at that time under the rain. So in fact, what happened is that uh, we have a lot of problems in Congo with the local chiefs and the land. Most of the time that tribe says no, this is our land, this is not your land, and the other one say no, it's our land, and no, you are a thief. That's a big problem in Congo, and we have the problem we are having now near Kinshasa in the Anubia Bay is exactly the same.
Mm.
So we went there through the village of Mulowai, that it's located on the south of the river. So that means it's the Kasai Oriental. So we arrived through Mulowai. We went to see the chief of Mulowai. We spent 1 hour in the guest hut. We drink some local alcohol. We gave them some whiskey, cigarettes, some sugar, some salt, some palm oil,
Wow.
phones and things like that. A bit of money because you always have to do that in Africa. And then we had the benediction. They say, okay, now we go to the water. We do some small incantation. We throw some alcohol in the water. We do some singing, and you can stay there. So, and I told him, chief, last time when we came, we had another chief who came to see us, saying that this is his land, and he was pretty aggressive, etc. No, 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 we don't have any more problem with that guy. And said, no, call
Uh-oh.
him. I want him to come so we can speak. No, 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 don't worry. He will be there. He will be there. Then we reached the river, and the guy didn't come. And so he told me, the chief of Mulawai told me, okay, maybe he will come. If he come, please welcome him. I said, yes, of course, I will welcome him. And so the chief of Mulowai says, okay, I'm staying with you guys. I'm staying the whole time you sleeping here. I will stay for the expedition with you for the security. This time we didn't have any policemen or military with us. That was not a good idea. So I told him, no, you are a chief. You need to sleep in your hut. Please go back to your home, etc. So he went. We went on the river with my friend, and we were so pumped to do only 3.5 hours of road, to arrive, to set the camp, to be at 5:30 p.m. on the river. We were amazed. Then when we came back, that chief arrived, Chief Shishimbi, that is his name, Chief Shishimbi. So he arrived with two pirogues. So do we say pirogue in English?
Uh, what?
Dugout. You know those wooden canoe we have in
Oh
Africa?
yeah. I don't know what
Okay,
they're called though, but what have you
I'm
used?
keeping saying pirogue because I know it in that way, but so it's the canoe, the wooden canoe,
Yeah, we call them like dugout canoes, I think.
dugout canoes. Yeah, they arrived. There were six, and so the chief there, we call them Fumu, and I don't speak the local language from there because the name is Chiluba, and I speak Lingala. But I know that he speaks Lingala. So I welcomed him in Lingala. I'm Fumu Fumu, please come sit with us. So he arrived, and the guy was completely drunk. Like when I shook his hands, I could smell like it was like you pumping gas in your car. You see when you have
Yeah.
that smell. I said,
Yeah.
shit. And then I look around, and they were all drunk. There were like 6 or 7 people there. So I sit, we talk, I give him cigarettes, I give him whiskey. Then another dugout arrived with 3 more people, then another one with 3 more people. So now we're starting to be 15. And then 10 guys arrived by running. And then now we're surrounded of more than 20 people, completely drunk. And the chief, and the chief starting to explain us that this time again, we have not called him to come on his land, and we did a huge mistakes, and that we arrived. And I told him, no, we arrived through the land of Mulowai. This is the land of Mulowai. We saw the chief Mulowai. I don't know why I have to see you. And because you need also to show a bit of strength. If not, they will just eat you straight away. And then we started the story. Oh no, this is my land. You have stolen us at the land. You see the map you bring last time from 1946. You can see the river is not the same shape than now, and that's true. The river have changed. That's
Oh
true.
wow.
So this is my land. And they started. The chief of Muloi left 2 guards with us, and they started to intimidating these guys and they stole the hat of one guy, and they started with the machetes doing some movement like that. So
Whoa.
it was pretty tense. I was not scared for myself because I know they won't do anything to a white man that is there officially with papers, etc. So I was not pretty afraid. I was more afraid for the 2 guys. So these 2 guys left and went back to Mulowai and tell the chief, listen, there is Chishimbi there, Augustin. He's making a mess. There will be problem there. All drunk there. Please call the police. So we finished talking with Chishimbi. He left, and I looked around me, and I said, there is only Frank, so my friend Frank, me, and our guy that is there for public relations that we know since 2021. He's a very good guy. And I said, no, guys, this is not a good situation. We are just alone like that, and they just came to intimidate us, and it's not a good situation. Well, at 8 p.m., we slept. We weren't sleeping. Midnight, I heard one shot. Pah, pah, second shot. Straight away, like 10 seconds away. I woke up and said, oh, this is just someone hunting. And I closed my eyes again and I slept. 20 minutes after, one shot again. And it was stronger, closer. And I told Frank, this is not normal. He said, that's not the first shot. I said, yes, I know that's not the first shot. It's the second shot. So we were pretty tired, and I told him I thought it was a hunter. I said I thought also it was a hunter, but at midnight hunting, raining, no hunter is out, and the sound was too clear and too clear for a hunting
Close
gun
enough,
that they
yeah.
have. Yeah, it was like Kalashnikov. And then they reached the car, 50 meters. Bah! They shot again. They shot again. And then they say, ah, shit. So now they're in the camp. And I was thinking like these guys went to do a fighting with the guy of Mulowai. And now they come into the camp to scare us and that we leave. And then now we hear them coming into the camp, shouting and running. And then they just passed through the tent and I heard loading the gun, bah, just beside me. Now I start screaming at them. Why are you doing that? Please calm down, calm down. And then I heard, no, this is Chief Mulawai. Be in peace, Thomas. I just came with the policeman. So like it was 1 a.m. I get out of the tent. I was so angry and started to shout at them. Then we sit, we talked. He stayed until the morning, and then he left, and we kept 2 policemen with us, and no problem after that. So humans are the problem all the time.
Were those shots into the air when they came through, or was that at
Yeah.
somebody?
In fact, they were explaining us that they were afraid that the people of Chishimbi were in the camp and they wanted to protect themselves. So they were shouting through the air. So they were afraid and they leave the camp. But there were no one on the camp. But they couldn't know that there were no one on the camp. Because you don't have cell phones, nothing is working there.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, after you said that, Mark, when do you want to go?
No, but next time we will have policemen. And now we know we arrive.
It's okay. I'm with Thomas, so
No,
it's fine. The only thing though, like they won't touch a white man, but what about like
actually, that would be a good point. Do you think they've seen? I know they've seen white people there. Have they seen?
Yeah, of course. The old ones and the adults, yes, they have seen. Maybe for the kids, it's less. They can see less white men. For a kid of 4 years old or 3 years old, they've never seen a white man. So of course they're curious. They're coming on the dugout to see us, and so we talk with them. Sometimes you have one guy he knows how to swim, and so I see him swim. I see him swimming, and I say, okay, take the goggles, go in the water, see what you have. And so I gave him the mask, and he went in the water, and the guy was completely amazed by what he was seeing. And I tell him, you see why you come? Because they are all thinking that, not now because it's the 3rd time I'm going for that, but they are all thinking that we are going there to mine diamond because it's a diamond region.
Oh,
there
wow.
used to be a lot of diamonds in the rivers in those 2 regions. But the geological formation of River Flood doesn't allow to have diamonds because it's calcareous, it's porous. There is no pressure enough to create diamonds. So they're all thinking that. And when you have one of the guy who knows to swim, you give him the mask and he goes underwater. Then I told him, you understand why I come? He said, yes, it's very nice. It's very nice.
Next time we go, we'd have to we'll just bring some of the kids some masks so they can that'll be one of the trading items.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. But
they will be more happy to have football, soccer balls and candies and things like that.
Yeah.
And
is there any Chinese people there?
Yeah. Do you think they would? If Mark went there,
any Chinese people there?
Yeah, like.
Yes. Something
like
funny.
There's Chinese people everywhere. Like honestly, seriously, like everywhere.
Yeah. But since 2010, 2008, we have more Chinese coming to Africa. I will speak about the case of Congo because I know it. They came because the government have done a lot of contracts with Chinese companies to build road, and Chinese mining company have come to Congo to. So funny enough, it's that 15 years, 20 years ago, when you were white and you were going outside of the town of Kinshasa, the kids were pointing at you and saying Mundele. Mundele means white man. Mundele, 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 Mundele. And now, since 15 years, they don't say Mundele. They say Chinois, Chinese, Chinese. Yeah. So now every people that have a light skin colors, is Chinese now. And before it was white men. You were Chinese, you came 20 years ago in Congo, they would tell us
Tell you what.
white men, white men.
Okay, gotcha. So would I run into problems if I go?
No, 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 no. You won't, if I do expedition, I will have a proper authorization to do it. I will never go without the papers because it's such a hassle when you are a foreigner to move in the Congo. They always ask you to give the passport. They want to see your visa. They want you to have a paper of mission. So you can go freestyle if you want. I did once, but you know that you will have to give some bride money and you will have to get out some money. But even if you have the papers, but when you have the papers, you just stop. You have the papers, yes, you give the papers. Can they see the passport? Yes, you give the passport, and they won't take any longer. They will ask you, "Can we have some money just for the coffee?" Or so you give them because these guys they have nothing. Even if they're
Yeah.
working for the government, they have
Right.
nothing. They're lost inside the country, and so you're helping them also. It's not the good way to do because you are contributing to this and you're keeping in life this way of doing things in African country. But when you know the reality, I'm born here, I'm raised here. When you know the reality, these guys have nothing. So when they will see a white man, if you don't have the proper visa, you don't have the proper papers, we're talking about the guy say, no, you give me $200 or $300. But when you have the papers, the guy will ask you maybe $5 or something like that. Oh, can I have something? My kid, I want to buy him something, some food or things like that. So you do it because you know these guys have nothing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha.
You will
That's
not have any problem coming with me. I hope, but no,
that's a
you will not
very
have problems.
that's a very different world. I mean, when I was on the expedition with Heiko, um, you know, there were a lot of he told me a lot of stories similar to that because when like you're in deep in the country and then a lot of them would really just they really just are after money, so they will just hustle you and then they'll just like want to check if you're there by permission or not, but then no, it's like in the middle of the rainforest, like no one gives a
Hmm.
permission, right? But then obviously they pretend to be authority just to ask for money and stuff. And yeah, so that's how it is.
That's the reality of many countries, unfortunately. And sometimes, when you are in a remote area, you can be less confident, and then you say, okay, I should give them the money, and because also not you are afraid, but you're a bit stressed of the situation, and you don't
Mm.
know how to manage the situation. I'm growing. I'm still young. I'm 37 years old. I'm doing expedition only since 2018. So I hope I will continue to have expeditions and to take experience. I know now I have more experience than in 2018.
Yeah. So yeah, after hearing that, then I don't even, that pretty much answered my question of why why we don't need to worry about
No,
people, too many people going to the river
no,
Hoppa. Yeah.
actually, it'll be I would be so excited to go, and I think I like I mean, obviously, I don't like endangerment, but I love the I do love seeing I like meeting people from all backgrounds and in different countries. Like you said, you went to Thailand, but I've been deep into Thailand and some of the indigenous people there. Same thing in Peru, and uh, I agree. I think it's actually just also nice to give back to a place that you're going to use. So when you go through there and those people don't have a lot, it is nice to come bearing gifts, and you're going to be obviously drinking with them anyways. It sounded like too. So,
Mhm.
but
That's great. That's awesome. Is there any
And
like what's the most when you first snorkel in the water, right? Like really seeing the underwater scenery of River
mhm.
Falls. What was the most, I guess, surprising or like shocking thing in your mind or in your experience?
One. Oh shit.
Your top five, if you
Um,
need.
I
Yeah,
think
it doesn't have to be just one. Yeah.
the most remarkable thing, the thing that have shocked me was the blue,
Yeah.
the color blue.
Mm,
I've when you go snorkeling on the reef,
mm,
you don't have that deep blue, and I think Kazi can
Yeah.
also agree with that because he went to the spring in Florida. You have that particular blue, and I think that was the thing that have marked me and that I've always kept in my mind.
mm.
The first time I dipped my head in the water, it was like that blue color. Tu vas dormir? Fais-moi un bisou.
Yeah, that like when I saw the footage, especially on the deeper part of the river, that blue
Mhm.
was just yeah, like I was really surprised by how blue it is in freshwater,
It was
even for
almost
springs, because a lot of springs they're very clear, but they don't have like a tinted color. I mean, like I think some of the springs in Florida have that, the
yeah, they
like
do,
same
like
type
you
of
posted.
shade, right?
And that's when I first started in the hobby, I was looking for that kind of background to a tank because I'm used to
And
seeing it.
impossible.
And yeah, it just doesn't. I have the
Yeah,
only thing I've seen that comes close is when those people have that those
like a
small
backlit.
nanotanks with a blue light to it. It comes
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
close.
a
yeah.
But
backlit
it's
LED.
still you can't replicate the true. That's why I only go with black because you can't replicate that true blue, deep
No,
blue color to it.
and I think the second thing that I shocked me when I was in the water that I remember it was that I was out of the water and Heiko at that time didn't know me, so he didn't knew if I was a good swimmer or if I was
Mhm.
afraid of the nature. And he said, "I'm going on the river. Please wait for me." And we go together in the water. And I was like, I was looking at the water, and the water was so transparent. I was seeing the fish. I said, no, 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 I cannot wait anymore. So I took my mask, I took the snorkel, and when I was walking through the water. I was seeing the water, sand patches, rocky area, the plants. But for me, outside of the water, it was flat. And when put my head in the water, I saw what you were explaining, all these hills, all these rocks formation. And I think the rocks was not that didn't shock me, and I didn't draw a lot of attention to it. I think the thing that drew my attention more was those hills of sand, because it's not rocks. It's you have a hole of sand, and then it goes up, and then on the top you have those Vallisneria plants, and then you pass the Vallisneria, and again you have that valley with
Oh
sand.
wow.
And that's the thing that have shocked me, and I was like, it's not flat, and you
Right,
have
because you would
all
think
this.
the flow of the water would just, especially sand would just make
Mhm.
everything right. But
And I think that's
how come though? Like what formed that?
so as again, I'm not a scientist, but
Right,
what I
sure.
think is that the river doesn't have one spring. It have like 7 to 8 different spring on the
Hmm.
first 2 kilometers. So on the first 2 kilometers, you don't have a really straight flow of the water. Let's say the river flows this way, and the first outlet, the water goes out
Mm.
like this. So it turns and it goes against the rocks, and it
Mm.
comes back like this. Then you have another one coming out from the right side a bit upstream.
Mm.
So when they meet, so it's the flow is a bit chaotic.
Mm.
And you have like that on the first kilometers, you have 7 to 8 different outlets,
Wow.
and some have different temperature, and you can see in the water when hot the hot
Oh
spring and
wow.
the cold spring mix, it gives a
Right,
blurry
it has that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
blurry area.
wow.
Salinity look to
That's
it. Yeah.
So I
incredible.
think that would be a good explanation, because after, when you pass the 2 or 3 first kilometers, there is a very narrow channel that we call the rapids, but it's not very strong. After that, that's where the river become wide and it flows quite slow. All that part is flat.
Mm.
And you're going down after that flat part, very wide. It narrows again, and then you have all these Potamogeton area where you have the giant Potamogeton, and it's not flat, but you have imagine a huge field of Potamogeton, and there is a main channel where the water flows into it. But you don't have any hills, and it's just a valley like that, and it's flat underground. So I think it's so chaotic due to this mixing of flow and water coming from the
Yeah,
different
that makes
directions.
sense. What's the temperature like of the water?
Chile?
No, it's the water is quite hot. I think if you're
Oh,
right at the exit of the spring, you should be like at 24.
Okay.
And when you
Oh, wow, that's
swim
pretty high.
yeah.
in the main area where all the waters is mixed, I think you like 26. So the water is not cold. You're
Got
enjoying
it.
your time in the water.
So it's almost like 80. Well, I mean like high 70 at least.
Yeah. And
Again,
so
again, the Americans, you want to complicate.
no, yeah, I know. I was Googling
We
at the
just have
same
no
time.
reference. We just have no reference for Celsius.
The
Like
26, I don't know
it
how
should
much it
change,
can be.
honestly.
The around
You will put it
26.
on the screen
Yeah. We'll put the subtitle and then we'll put like whatever reference that we
in
want.
Fahrenheit and in
Yeah.
foot and things like that.
Casey's
Well,
gonna do all of that. So thank you,
yeah,
Casey.
it surprises me though too because the springs around here, almost all of the springs, at least I don't know like all the springs here in Florida, obviously. I just know the ones around me, like the ones that are more famous. And the water there, like the Rainbow River, like getting into the river is over here. They feel really cold when you get in. But plus, I thought I saw you wearing a wetsuit. Don't you have footage of you wearing a wetsuit?
No. He's in
Yeah,
the swimming trunks,
that
right?
was in 2021. Because I went through an expedition before and I was feeling cold in the water by standing still to get some footage. And so I said, no, I will take a lot of footage in real force. So I need to take a swimming,
Yeah.
I don't know how you say that,
Wetsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
diving, yeah, wetsuit. But like I use it once and I didn't use it anymore.
It makes sense though. It does
So
chill you pretty quick, and even like it's lower than your core temperature a lot of times, so it does lower it and make you chilly quicker. But in Florida, though, like I was just double checking when you're saying that the range that we have is like 21 Celsius, or for the other the ignorant Americans like us,
that's very
Fahrenheit
cold.
70 sometimes. And so you get in when you're trying to convince people to get on the river early, like if you want to just enjoy this river that moves through, where it's really pristine and blue and all the nature. It's hard to get everyone in there. Like you just get into
Mm,
you get into the water and you just takes you like 20 minutes because it feels so cold.
Mm.
yeah.
But
And that's something also, in Florida, you have a lot of people in the water. If you reach there at noon, there will be a lot of people swimming, walking, or swimming just on the side
uh,
of the river. So they will move the sand, they will move the plants, and
yeah,
all the visibility is straight away gone.
Yeah.
And I can tell when we were in the Belgian Bay sometime, Frank was swimming upstream and was standing in the water, and then I was downstream. And okay, I could see Frank like 50 or 60 meters away, but the water was not as clear. So I cannot imagine if you have 500 people walking there,
Right.
you won't see anything. That's
well,
why you're saying you need to go in the morning just to enjoy that river.
that's true. And there's some like lower seasons of people not being there. But what's nice about one of the rivers here is it's more protected, and there are people that live along it, but for the most part they only allow a certain amount of people on the river. So like where you've seen Mark, a lot of the footage that I've ever taken, it's been on
Yeah.
that river, and you see a couple people go along it on their inner tubes and stuff like that. But for the most part, the river is moving so fast, and you barely see anybody all day as you're going. And so your footage, it just depends on the conditions of the river because there won't be anybody
Yeah.
messing it up because it's a little bit deeper too. But
Mm.
but nothing like as remote as the foie. So
Yeah, what are
And
some of the like I've seen these large fish, right? So besides the cichlids, I've seen these
yeah,
large fish that are almost they look almost like carp a little bit, like right? And
I
then
think they are from the
grayling,
same family.
right?
They
So,
are from the
so
same family.
what kind of fish are those?
These are Labeobarbus, ruby something. I forgot the name of the exact species. And I think they are from the family of the carp, and they can be huge. Again, I will use the metric system because I know only the
Yeah,
metric
yeah, yeah,
system.
for sure.
They can
Yeah.
be like 50 to 60 centimeters. That's a big, quite big fish. Um,
Like
and they
like
are
2 feet.
you can find them along the river, and from the start of the river to the end of the river, you can see them.
Not 2 feet, I'm sorry.
I'll have to look some of
Wow.
these fish up
But
too.
wow, that yeah, so like what's the besides well, I mean like including all the fish, including all the cichlids and everything, like is there a particular type of fish that you've seen underwater that's just like kind of like surprised you or like you found to be like really amazing?
Compared to the same one I've seen in an aquarium.
Sure, yeah.
If we still talk about the then yes, because all the pictures of the one I told you, the cichlid I told you, the Thoracochromis calicromus, we
Mhm.
can call him the Picasso cichlid because the arrangement of color is so unusual that we can refer to Picasso painting that
Mm.
he was just drawing the colors on different
Mhm.
patterns. So, and all the Picasso cichlids I've seen in aquarium were doing like maybe this long, 15 centimeters long. And they were not like quite fat. They were like a bit long cichlids. And the first time I went to River Froid, I didn't understand the fishes I was seeing because I didn't knew the River Froid fishes. But the second time I went there and I spent way more time in the water than the first time, I saw this fish and I said, but it's triple the size of the fishes we have in our aquarium and that everyone have. I have one here. One of the cichlids is a F1 from the 2019 trip. One of the Picasso cichlids. So he's now maybe 3 to 4 years old,
Mm.
and the fish is 15 centimeters, and he got
Mm.
an aquarium of 450 liters. So I think it's like 60 gallons or something like that. So it's quite a huge tank. But the one I've seen in the River Froid, they were like triple the size. They were not long and thin. They were like fat with
Mm.
big belly
Huh.
and very the colors were more marked in the water than there. So yes, I think I was quite blown away by the size of the Picasso cichlid when I saw it
Gotcha.
in nature.
Do you think like the F1 hasn't like it's just a maybe like a sub-adult size and haven't reached the full size yet, or is it just somehow like when you bring it indoor and into the aquarium, there's something that's lacking?
I think it's maybe food because this particular species they feed on filamentous algae.
Mm.
They feed also on diatomic algae that is on the grain of the sand. So
Okay,
they filter the sand
sure.
through the bronchi. How do you say
The
those
The
gills,
parts in
gills,
English?
the
The gills.
gills.
Oh, thank you. The gills. And they eat few insects. So I
Mm.
think it's due to the food, to the size of the aquarium also that we have that difference. And it's funny, this fish, even in the aquarium, he got that behavior of trying to find the atomic algae on the sand because you have the sand like this, and he just go vertically and he dips his head and going down, down, down,
Like an ostrich?
almost reaching,
Yeah.
yeah, like almost reaching the gills.
Oh wow.
And he does this every day in my aquarium. So
Oh, you
what I
gotta
do
can I
is
see a video of it if you ever get one on video?
I
Yeah, I
will
would love to
search.
see that.
Maybe I got one. They are very shy fishes. Huh?
Mm.
As soon as you come close,
Come
they'll
in,
go
yeah.
away. And what I do is that I take some nano dust food. So it's dust, and I dip my hand in the aquarium with it, and I release it in the sand. And so sometime he comes and he do it. So I will try to film that for you. But it
Yeah,
dips very
that's
buries his
funny.
head.
Wow,
That's so
very cool.
cool.
Any like crustaceans in the river that like you seen?
Yeah, there are
Crayfish? Oh, maybe not crayfish, like
some
shell.
crayfish, some shrimps.
Oh yeah? Okay.
You have some small shrimps like 1 inch, 1 to 2 inches. What else? You have some crayfish, biggers, like let's say four
Wow,
four
that's so
inches.
cool.
With I don't know, do we close? You say close?
Yeah.
Claws, yeah, claws.
Claws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for my English.
No, no
It's not
worries.
my
No,
mother
great.
language. That's pretty. I have not seen crabs, and the fishermen, I asked them, they have not seen any crabs.
Hmm.
At night, you have a lot of catfishes. You have some
Oh, cool.
African knife fish, full of them. If you
Oh,
put your
wow.
the flashlight in the river at night near the river
Ooh, next time
the
you should
river
try
bank.
to get some footage of that.
Yeah, I should find underwater light, and I can. But when you put your flashlight, you just see two red
Yeah,
eyes shining, and
right.
then you just move, and then you see another one, and in fact, there are hundreds around you.
Oh,
I
wow.
have not maybe find the strength to do some exploration at night in the water.
How come? How
When I
come? You
get there,
said
when I
there's
get there,
no
we'll go.
predators.
Okay, yeah, maybe if I'm not alone to do night exploration, it will be different. My first night exploration I want to do, it's in the small Anubia Bay, because I have noticed one day that there is some mermaids fish there,
Oh,
and
okay.
they are very active at night. And we don't have any footage of wild mermaids, so I think it would be good if I can bring the first footage of
Sure.
this fish. But I have to go there at night. It means a small 1 kilometer hike in the forest going down uh, and swimming in that small bay at night. So I will do. I have a friend who he told me last week that he got a flashlight that can go in the water. So when that time
What's your
comes,
concern for night swimming?
I don't know. Maybe I
Is it
cannot
just
say
the
physics
unknown?
because yeah, just the unknown. I think you know that you can see only through the beam of your light
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not seeing on the right.
right.
But I'm conscious that at night there is no snake because it's too cold. There are no crocs because I have not seen crocs. Um, there are no particular big predator fish because the one that there is on in this particular river don't attack humans and are not very big. So I think it's just the fear of the unknown, and I have to
Like,
pass this.
so right after I asked that question, I remembered how dark it is, right?
Yeah, when
That's
you
out
know.
there. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
like, because at first I was like, all right, like it's the nighttime, there's no predators, but then I just remember like how dark it is, and then
yeah.
yeah, like just you're not gonna be able to see anything besides like outside of the light cone that your flashlight
You
is
won't see
producing,
anything.
and then that's pretty scary.
And
That
as soon as you turn on your light, you have hundreds of insects coming
Yeah.
around you,
right,
and
Yeah, it
so
right.
blocks your view.
What's
wow.
the
But
mosquito
I
situation
will
like?
do it, guys. I will bring you the
I'll
first
do it.
night
I'll go
footage.
first if it gets us going. I'll go first.
Yeah, I have to like to have teammates like you. That's great.
Yeah.
What's the mosquito situation like?
Mosquito repellents.
Oh,
You just
also,
put
so yeah,
mosquito.
so yeah,
Wow, yeah.
obviously mosquitoes.
For example, in River Foix, they all say, they used to say that there is a lot of mosquitoes, even Dr. Schwetz, even Heiko in his book, even Robertson Kullander was saying that. Uh, 1 second. Hugo, s'il te plaît, tu peux arrêter de faire bouger le lit, il y a la caméra qui bouge. And Listen, the 3 times I went there, I wasn't hassled by the mosquitoes. Maybe it's due to the situation also because we were in closed tent. We had like the tent where we were sleeping, and we had like a shelter tent that we just closed the mosquitoes net on the side. But even when I was outside, I have not been bitten by the mosquitoes. I have not used a lot of mosquitoes repellent. I think I'm get more mosquitoes at my home in my garden than in the nature.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. What's the water chemistry like?
So river foie, as we said, is a calcar um, riverbed and galleries of water. So the pH range between 7.5 to 7.7. Um, I will not tell you that I went through the GH and KH, etc. I didn't took, and unfortunately, and a friend of mine told me that I'm stupid. I didn't bring any water to make some studies on it. But surely it should be KH, GH a bit high as we have calcar in the water. Temperature from 24 to 26. Maybe when you are in very stagnant part, the water can be like 27, 28, but in the main flow, it's 26. Um, I remember that electroconductivity was not as low as those black water river that we have. Maybe due to all this calcium and magnesium that there is in the water. I don't remember the exact number of microseconds, but it was higher. Like for example, rivers in the equatorial forest, you will have like 12 to 20 microseconds electroconductivity. That's very, very, very low. And I remember that it was higher. I think it was almost 3 digits, 90 or something like that. I will ask Heiko if he still have the writing about it.
What on this is kind of off topic now, but what do you use when you film underwater? I've seen that you use a drone above water, but what do you use?
So I'm using the cheapest drone of DJI. I'm using a DJI. Sorry, I don't know if I can tell names of brand.
No, it's okay.
It's okay. So I'm using DJI Mini 2. It's a very small drone for what I do. It's okay, but sometimes I wish I could manage my aperture of the lens, but unfortunately on this kind of drone you cannot do it. But at $500 filming 4K at 400-meter altitude, come on,
Yeah.
it's a really good drone. And then I'm filming with a GoPro 10. I was quite disappointed this time with the GoPro 10. I think the auto settings of the GoPro 10 underwater is not good because it's compensating too much on the red. I think it's detect that you are in the water and there is a lot of blue as the first color of the light that is erased by the water is the red. They compensate with the red. So when I looked at the footage when I was on the road coming back from the river Foix, it was like the sand is yellow and the fishes are too yellows, too yellow. So I think I should maybe study more the GoPro 10. It's sharper. I used to have the GoPro 7. The GoPro 10 is sharper, so you have better footage. But the color rendition, I think, was better on the 7. So I use very basic material. If I could have a better drone and certainly an underwater camera, like that would be a step forward.
Yeah. For the color, I mean, you can always, color correct in the post-production and then maybe like just adjust the white balance a little bit before you shoot. But I mean, like in automatic, in auto mode, it's like you're not gonna be able to adjust a whole bunch. But I was gonna say like you could bring one of those dome lens, like the dome cover. right? That you can
Mhm.
for the GoPro, and then you can take a shot of like half above water, half underwater, that type of shot. Those are always really interesting.
I've done some footage of I call that the two worlds pictures,
Two
as you have the
worlds, yeah.
terrestrial world and the water
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and like for one moment, I really wanted to be like specifically doing this kind of picture of every river, and so I spoke with Jason Sulda from Australia. I
Okay.
don't know if you have seen pictures of Jason. So I think his YouTube channel is Australian Biotops, something like that, and
Okay.
on Facebook also. He got amazing underwater pictures. Really, really, you should go and look at it because amazing pictures. And he was doing also two worlds pictures. So I started to talk with him, and I said, "How do you do? Are you using a dome?" And he said, I tried many different dome. Always the problem I had with this dome is that I needed to be in a place that there is no direct sun, because if not,
Mm.
every time I got a small reflection on the dome
Oh, I see.
on the dome glass.
Uh-huh.
And when he wanted to avoid that, there were not enough light for the GoPro to take pictures.
I see.
So but I told him, listen, it doesn't cost a lot. It's like $80. I should buy it. He said, you will waste your money. You should work more on doing photoshops about multiple shots at the same place, because the problem that we have is that in this kind of river, you have the flow, and when the water hit a small lens
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
that, you have waves coming, and so it's very hard to get
Gotcha.
a very sharp line. You can achieve that when you are in stagnant water. So he told me you should work on that. Like you take maybe 10 shots, and then you try to select small parts, and then you put them together, and then you can have the perfect shot.
I see.
But I don't have the time.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be
But he's
very hard.
doing an amazing job. You should go and watch the Australian biotops.
Australian biotope.
I'll send you a link.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We're coming up to it's past what, like 1.5 hours now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
One and a half
really
hour. Yeah,
great
it was
insight.
a nice talk.
Right.
I mean, like I could talk with you about this all day long, and then or
I
multiple
can talk
days, but
also.
I know you have you have family to attend to, and your kids are probably dying to have their dad back. So I will just not
he's
take up
yeah,
too much
he's
of their
just
time.
there around me, and
You did a good
that
job.
time, yeah, he
Great.
came.
Thank
He
you so
asked
much,
me if
Thomas.
I can
And
put him to bed.
before we go, where can everybody find your information and find your, your content?
So if you want to find my content, I post most on Instagram. My name is congo.nature.photography. I post also sometime longer video on YouTube. You can just type my name, Thomas Minesi. Minesi is with one S. And sometime I put on Facebook, but Facebook is more private than social media and public. So I invite you guys to come and
Perfect.
watch my footage.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
I wanted to thank you guys again for inviting me. Kazi, we were talking since long time on the chat. It's nice to see the face of the people you talk with.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad you have invited me, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And we'll make sure that we'll, post all your links to the show notes, and so people
Thank
can
you.
find you and see everything. But you guys definitely, you just have to see it for yourself. You have to see the
Yeah.
footage for yourself. I mean, like, words fail to describe the beauty of this place, and it
It's
needs to
hard
be,
to explain, yeah.
yeah, it needs to be seen. And I'm really just surprised that National Geographic or like BBC haven't really done like a in-depth documentary about it. Like maybe it's just the political
Because
situation.
there is no side stories. These days those big company, they need side stories to
Right,
to get the
gotcha.
money, to get the funding and things like that. So I think we lack something. Maybe
That's
if we
true.
go and we get shot on the leg,
There you
we'll
go.
want to do something.
That'll be the day that Mark and I go there.
Yeah,
So
so
again,
we
guys,
gotta do
thank
it.
you very
So
much.
we gotta do it. You know, we'll form a team and we'll
Yeah.
publish it on YouTube or something.
Yeah. Maybe I think you got plenty of footage, Mark. I sent you plenty of footage, and we can do something. And I did this time recording, like 3 minutes recording of me every day or multiple time a day during the expedition, explaining what was happening, what we were doing
Yeah,
on the river. So I got also this footage. We can do something one day.
for sure. For sure. All right. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you,
Thanks,
Tom.
guys.
Great. Bye.
Amazing talk.
Have a good day, guys. Bye.
You too.
All
Thank
right.
you for listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.